the first 4 weeks of this meet, and actually the last weekend of the
quarter
horse meet as well. You might recall when I was under the weather. It's good to be back. It's good to be back here in Grand Prairie in the beautiful paddock and with Rodney Nelson. Rodney, good to be back with you. How have you been picking them so far?
I've been picking the fast horses, hopefully getting them done. So we've had some nice picks so far this meet. We've had some very nice days. Have some that were kind of clunkers as well, but it's nice to have you back here at home, Jim. We turned the heater on for you tonight to make you feel like Texas in the summertime. It's a warm one tonight. 7 races on the card. It's going to be fun on a Thursday night.
Yeah, fast and firm on the racetracks. 6:35 Central, the first post. I've got 86 as a temperature currently. As you can see, the sun poking out, but it's kind of a hazy sun. Chance of rain over the weekend. We could be ducking rain pretty much the next 3 nights. Hopefully tonight will be okay. And we've got an interesting card tonight. I've already done today and tomorrow, and I really think there's some really interesting horses in. A bunch of scratches today, but interestingly, not a lot of them really affected my original picks. So let's get on to the action. Race 1, 2-year-olds, 4.5 furlongs is the distance. I understand, though, that this is not our first 2-year-old race.
No, we had one last week, I believe.
Yeah,
was when it was.
I saw that. 4.5 furlongs, maiden special weights. These are 2-year-olds. And scratch the 4 Legendary Dragon. And these are always interesting. You never exactly know what you're getting. You can go by sale price. You can go by breeding. But if you don't have a whole lot, you don't have much else to go by. So who do you like here?
Yeah, kind of like a lottery ticket here in the first race. Throw some numbers out there, and hopefully you find something that sticks. The one I went with here in race number 1 is going to be the one, Pound Out a Deal. I'll tell you a couple reasons why I like this horse. Well, first of all, had a pretty decent workout back at Evangeline Downs at the end of April, so it wasn't that long ago. It was 4 of 11 on the morning at 3 furlongs. But what I like about the number 1, Pound Out a Deal here in this spot is this horse drew the rail. In 4.5 furlongs, there's not very much run up until they start going around that turn. I think Pound Out a Deal drawing to the inside is going to be able to stay on the inside and not get caught wide out there around that first turn. If you got one of these outside posts and you just don't break well or you don't have any speed, you're going to get caught wide around that turn and have to go a lot longer than the other horses in this race. Pound Out a Deal, that's why I'm on the number 1 here. Second horse that I would look at is the 6 Cool Ride. Trainer Jade Gelner, he sends out quite a few nice horses, first-time runners. Had a decent workout out here on the 30th of April over this track. So it's nice to see this horse working over this track. We'll see what happens, but I got it 1, 6, and 2 here in the opener tonight.
You're going with the 870 theory of, which these races do resemble 870s during the quarter horse meet where you take that inside route home. There's some handicappers that really don't like the rail, went for a first-time starter, but these are all first-time starters. So, if a horse is quick enough, they can get out of there and kind of make their own trip. I'm going with the 6 Cool Ride. I think this colt might be really, really quick. We're going to announce a recent work. It was on May 6th. It's in the form, but it's not in the program. It was a 1/4 of a mile workout in 25 and 3 breezing. It was a fast work, and it was the fastest of 7 quarter-mile thoroughbred works that day. This horse has multiple Louisiana-bred siblings who won races. Nothing spectacular, but a lot of winners in that family. I don't know much about Takeover Target, the sire. I did just look him up here, though. He was a Harlan's Holiday that raced for Chad Brown. He was a multiple graded stakes winner. If he was a Chad Brown, I don't have time to research it now. I'm thinking turf possibly, but I don't know much about the stallion Takeover Target. But I'm going to go with Cool Ride over Emily's Bullet, who is one of a couple of Chelsea Pommiers that were entered in this race, but one of those was Legendary Dream that was scratched. Second race, the rail at 20 feet this week on the turf. Second race, a $25,000 claimer for fillies and mares, which have never won 4 or non-winners of a race since November 11th. A whole bunch of scratches here. The 1 Brandon's Babe is out. The 6 Gastown, and then the 9, 10, and 11 are all out of this one.
Yeah, so this race drew up with quite a few Lone Star Park veterans here. One of them that I'm going to take as my top choice in race number 2 is going to be number 5, Xylophone. This is a horse that's burned me a couple times out here at Lone Star Park. 7 career starts out here. Has won 2 of those races, but has finished off the board in the rest of them. Chelsea Bailey gets the mount tonight. It's going to be her first ride out here at Lone Star Park, I believe. Now, this horse had a pretty good meet at back at Oaklawn Park this year. Since February, horse ran second in 3 consecutive races, missing by a nose in all 3 of those races. Last time out was in a conditioned starter. Finished 4th in that one. Off a step slow is what the comments say here in my program. I think if this horse can jump out of the gate and run up to those other 3 races at Oaklawn that I pointed out, I think that Xylophone picks up the win tonight.
Yeah, I'm on her bandwagon. In fact, I picked her last time at Oaklawn just on April 30th against Male Rivals. That's how wide open that race was. I gave her a shot against Male Rivals on the main track at 1 mile and a 16th. She might be arguably a little better on dirt than turf, but she has won over this turf. She had a really good meet here last year. She rolled off those 2 come-from-behind wins. This field is loaded with closers, and even the ones that were scratched were closers. I'm not sure where the pace is going to come here, but I think Xylophone hopefully can lay close enough to kick in a rally. She did have a tough and kind of long Hot Springs campaign, 6 races over the course of that meet, dating back to December, but if she has another win in her, I think she can beat this group. She ran okay. I mean, Beyer-wise, she ran her race against Male Rivals last time out, but only finished 4th because they were a better bunch. On to the 3rd. Scratch number 3, Epic Run from race number 3. 1 mile, $5,000 claimers. These are for 3-year-olds and up, which have not won a race at 1 mile or over since December 1st. Or which have never won 4.
Yeah, so my pick here is one of the non-winners of 4. That is going to be your chalk, number 4, Pepperman. This horse looks like he's in a good spot here. We've seen a lot of success from horses that have been running out west that come out here to Lone Star for their first start. Pepperman's doing that same thing. Last 3 races were at Santa Anita. Had a race last December that was at Los Al. That was at this 1 mile distance, and that was the last time that Pepperman pulled off a win, picked up that win by 2.5 lengths. Robertino Diodoro, he's going to get on a roll out here now that the Oaklawn meet's done. He's bringing a lot of his
leading
horses
trainer
here.
Over there.
Yeah, so there's no doubt that he's going to pick up some wins. I think Pepperman could be his first one of the meet here in race number 3.
Yeah, this gelding's getting a little bit of a break. He's not started outside of California. The owners of this horse, Heath and Sheena Campbell, relatively new to the game. They're young owners. They won the ownership title over in Hot Springs. And in this case, they're dropping this horse a little bit. He was at $10,000 last time, and now he's in this $10,000 condition claimer. But that's kind of a trademark of Diodoro. He wins tons of races, especially for these folks, and they do drop a lot of horses and win, and that's kind of their M.O. Record's good, especially on dry, fast tracks, so I can't beat him. Big Rojo is interesting to me. He made a really, really nice bid here on April 29th in his other race, and came drawing clear late. Beyer-wise doesn't really compare to Pepperman, but I kind of think Big Rojo could run, he could have another really good one in him again.
And, trainer Ernesto Torres, I love the guy. He's already picked up a win out here, 2 wins out here this meet.
2 for 6.
He was the Darley Award winner for Arabian Trainer of the Year this year as well. LNG Racing Stables, I think that the owners picked up the win that picked up the title at Sam Houston this year, I want to say.
And they're right up,
LNG.
End Zone Athletics just passed them as the leading owner of this meet so far.
So I think that 5 could be a good horse if Pepperman doesn't get it done here.
I couldn't beat the favorite, though, in that one. On to the 4th. Scratch number 4, Freedom Factor from this race, and the 11, the main track only Randello. 1 1/8 on the turf. Optional claimer, 3-year-olds and up, started for $15,000 or less since May 11th of 2 years ago. And also, you could be in for $25,000, which 3 or 4 of them are.
So I've got number 6, Englander, here as my top choice in race number 4. Englander's had a good record out here at Lone Star Park. Out of the 6 tries that this gelding has been in races out here, has a couple wins, a couple seconds, and a third. So 5 out of 6 at Lone Star Park. This horse has been able to hit the board. Horse was a winner 2 starts back, won it by 4 1/4 lengths, and also has a couple wins so far in 2023, hitting the board in 5 out of 6, just like lifetime out here at Lone Star as well. Another thing I like about this horse, Austin Gustafson, the trainer, if you look back to that Sam Houston meet earlier this year, you see that this horse was claimed away from him, reaches back in 2 starts back and gets the horse back. So they must like Englander, think that this horse is ready to go, and I think this horse could have a good run here tonight in the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, it loves this track and loves this turf. And that's big no matter what, no matter where you are and whether it's dirt or turf. I like Englander a lot in the return to this turf course as well. But I took Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I mean, you talk about a guy that loves the course. I mean, he's been off since February, but that's kind of this guy's way of going. He's 9 years old. Steve Asmussen has had this horse for a while now. He doesn't over-race him. When he gets good, he can reel off a whole bunch of wins, and he has been able to run well fresh before. So he's one of these. He can go any distance. With Don't Ask, Don't Tell, 2 or 3 years ago, I tried to beat him a couple of times and tried to find angles, and I'm like, he can go up front if he has to. He can close if he has to. Now he's just an automatic pick for me if he's in a reasonable level. So I took him over Englander. Alvaro is interesting, too. A Diodoro runner here didn't run a step against first-level allowance runners in Hot Springs on the dirt, but gets back to the turf where he's a lot better. So you might get Diodoro at a little bit of value there. And Coco Como just had a really, really nice race behind Gold Pilot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Really good Texas
Coco Como was last out, was a good race out
here,
made up a ton of ground. I mean, if you're looking for another way to go, I mean, 5-1 before the scratches morning line on Coco Como, that's a pretty good wager if you ask me.
It's a really good race. Coco Como's probably entered a day or two early because look at his wet track record. If he was in tomorrow or the next day when it could be an off track, he could smoke him. 5th race, scratch the 5 Tootie. This is a first-level allowance for fillies and mares 3 and up at 6 furlongs.
Yeah, so I'll take the number 3 Super Wonder Girl here. This looks like the horse to beat. I mean, I think this horse had a very good meet at Oaklawn. 4 starts up in Hot Springs. 2 of those being wins. Had a second, missing by 3/4, and a third. So every race that this horse had at Oaklawn earlier this year was able to hit the board, including those 2 wins. Robertino Diodoro, the trainer, I talked about him winning some races. He's going to win some races out here. I think Super Wonder Girl is the one to beat here. Number 8, Mariah's Candy, is going to be my second selection. It's an interesting horse here. The horse has been out here at Lone Star Park one time. That was the most recent race. Ran a solid second in that race. Now, it was at 5.5 furlongs, so going to have to go a little further, but the way that horse was moving last time out, getting up there within a head of the win, I think the added distance, that extra half a furlong, could set up well for Mariah's Candy.
Yeah, I mean, she's super sharp. I had a hard time going against her, actually, but because I did have the chance to see Super Wonder Girl over there and some of the fillies she ran against, I'm going to go with her again and hope Diodoro has a nice night. Super Wonder Girl actually did make some pretty good progress up the rail. The winner drew off Prince Dreamcess that day, so it doesn't look like Super Wonder Girl really closed all that much, but you can see she passed a lot of fillies coming up the inside. Didn't really gain on the leader margin-wise, but Prince Dreamcess subsequently came back and won again in romping fashion, and she beat some nice fillies over there. So I'm going to take her over Mariah's Candy as well. And then Asmussen's filly, who loves to run second, Cadote Pai, is worth a look as well. By the way, speaking of Oaklawn, and I was negligent in thanking both Vic Stauffer, who did his typical outstanding job here filling in, and Lone Star for allowing me to miss the start of the meet to be over there. So I was very negligent in not mentioning them right off the top. I was so excited to get back on the air with you and to welcome you in and see how things have been going that I'd failed to do that. But big thanks to Vic Stauffer, who announced that the last race on Sunday was going to be his last race call.
Yeah, his last race call. That's what he said.
Quite momentous.
Going a different way, but it's still going to be a race tracker for life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Vic was a race tracker before he was a caller, and he will be one long after as well.
If only we could get him to the right barbecue restaurant. He said the best barbecue in the world is in Berkeley, California.
Is that right?
Yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way. So, Vic, if you're watching, I'll still buy you a meal down the street if you make it back this way.
Vic is, spent a lot of time in Northern California, so it doesn't surprise me that he's partial to NorCal places, but NorCal and barbecue you don't normally hear together.
It doesn't seem to go well together.
Yeah.
But, he gave me the name of the place. When next time I'm out in Berkeley, I'm going to try it out and see what it's got.
Yeah, I mean, California has everything, but you think of it more culinary-wise for maybe, shrimp foam and avocado toast rather than barbecue, but what the heck. Especially right here in kind of the home of barbecue.
Yeah, the home right
With
here.
all due respects to North Carolina and Kansas City. On to the 6th. Texas bred maiden special weights at 5.5 furlongs. Scratch the 5 Blingo and the 7 Rip Rules. I had Blingo third in here, so that was one of the few scratches today that maybe caused my picks to change. This is a really intriguing race because Rick Lee put his best long shot on this one, and I am going with a long shot as well.
I do not have a long shot.
No?
What did Rick have here?
He took Beyond Infinity, the first-time starter for Gustafson. But you're not taking the favorite, though. I mean, the favorite in here at 9-5 is Tiz Body Boy, and we're all
got one
trying
close,
to beat him.
but I'll talk about the favorite, Tiz Body Boy, in a second. But Mr. Valentino, that's going to be my pick here. This horse has seemed to be improving in every start now, over the last 3 at least. I mean, 3 starts back at 7 furlongs, was beaten by 22 1/4. It was beaten by 12, 2 starts back. But then last time seemed to have a nice run out here on our track at 6 furlongs. I mean, finished second in that one by 3.5. Horse was up there close most of the way around. I think Mr. Valentino might be starting to figure things out. And these horses that Dallas Keene sends out, he always has them in a good spot. I think that this one could make some waves here. Now, number 8, Tiz Body Boy, one of the things I wanted to point out about this horse, this is the handicapping angle that I like a lot of times. 2 routes, then to a sprint, right? So Tiz Body Boy is doing that. Those last 2, this horse probably was obviously conditioned in those 2 races. Coming back here for the sprint, I think this horse could get out and just try to run. We'll see what happens. I got the 2 over the 8. Either one of them comes in, I'll be happy here in race number 6, I think.
Yeah, from a buyer standpoint, Tiz Body Boy, and I got to look and see how Nick Tamero pronounced his name down at Houston, does seem to have an edge, and I like the turn-back angle as well. I'm going to try to beat him. I just think for what he is and for the level, I don't really want to go for 9-5 on him. So I'm going to try Mallory's Big Boy. This horse did virtually no running in Hot Springs, but Steve Asmussen went and claimed him, and I don't think he likes Oaklawn. I think it's fair to say. He ran at Oaklawn earlier this meet, and he was beating double digits every time. And then he went to Houston, a little bit lesser competition. He was in with Texas Breds, different track surface, and he ran okay. Buyer-wise, he fits right in. Then he went back to Hot Springs, and he got drubbed again. So I'm thinking he doesn't like that surface over there and or the level of competition facing opens. So I'm going to take a shot. He's been better with T-Breds. I'm going to give Mallory's Big Boy a shot over the favorite, Mr. Valentino. And Beyond Infinity, 5-year-old debuter, Rick's long shot pick for Wesley Melcher. The works aren't sensational, but it won't take sensation to beat this group, I don't think. On we go to the 7th and final. Carryover in the Super High Five of $5,010. Scratch the 4 Shacked Stateside, the 6 Azunia, and the 11 Perilous Life. 5/8 on the turf, an optional claimer, $50,000 tag, or 3-year-old fillies, which have never won 2 races.
So I'm on number 5, Titled Lady here. Now, this horse had a pretty good year down at the fairgrounds, picking up a win at First Asking down there in New Orleans back on the 19th of December. Followed that back up with a race on the turf, a route on the turf. Finished 3rd in that one. Since then, had a couple more dirt track starts, sprinting. Getting back to the turf this time, I think is going to set up well for this horse. I'd like to see this one in the winner's circle when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I went with her as well. We go from having you, me, and Rick all having different picks in that, what I think is a really wide-open 6th race, to we're all on the favorite here. I mean, I just think this filly has a huge edge in this spot. her one turf race, she was coupled with somebody and ran third, and that was going 2 turns. Her sprints have been solid. She seems to like the turf, and there's a tremendous amount of speed inside of her in this race. The 1, 2, and 3 are all seem to be super fast. So I think Jose Alvarez might have no choice but to just tuck in behind, and hope the rail opens up, and she may end up working out a really good trip there. So I got her over Country Lady, who I think might be one of the better of the pure speeds, Louisiana bred, coming in here. And then you have Night Orb as your second pick.
I took a bomb as a second pick. Night
Orb,
one
of these speeds could really do well.
Night Orb definitely has that speed. I mean, from those first 2 starts, an improvement from start 1 to start number 2. Getting to the turf for the first time. They wanted to start her on the turf last time. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So maybe they have some high hopes for the grass for this filly by Orb. Had a good workout last time, a bullet workout before that, 1 of 48 on the morning, just back at the end of April. I think if you want to roll the dice on a 20-1 shot, Night Orb's the way to do it here.
Yeah, I mean, Night Orb, like you say, has been drilling well, and I think she might be one to consider. I didn't use her in the picks. I probably should have. Arkansas bred in the last race on the turf, but she's really fast. And one of these speed merchants on the inside might just take over and scamper off and play come and catch me. So I think that might be a really nice pick. There's not much turf experience in that race either. All right, well, I think that wraps it up for a Thursday. We've got a 4-day week of racing coming up here. 6:35 start tomorrow, then we'll revert to the 135s on the weekend. This is that weekend in between the Derby and the Preakness. And, we might have to dodge a little rain the rest of the weekend, but we got inside, accommodations.
Well, the good thing is Saturday, if it does rain Saturday, it's our T-shirt giveaway. So you'll have a brand-new dry T-shirt to put on if you get wet out here in the rain. So that's Saturday, first 1,500 fans with paid admission through the gates. Gates open at noon, so get out here early and grab one of the 2023 Lone Star Park T-shirts on Saturday.
That'll be great. And then Sunday, of course, bring Mom out to the races. Mother's Day, it has to be annually one of our better days, I would think. At least not a day where we're racing dogs or ostriches or things like that. As far as just a Sunday to be out with the family, Mother's Day Sunday be a nice night to come out.
I'll be
here. Day to come
I'll be here Sunday.
Good. But Dave Appleton's going to be here tomorrow.
Dave will be here for me tomorrow. I'll be out in Commerce.
It's been a long time since Dave and I have done a pre-race show. We've done them before, but it's been a while. All right. Well, Rodney, as always, good luck today.
Same to you, Jim.
And good luck to you. It's a Thursday night here at Lone Star. And best of luck with your selections. And we'll have the anthem and the changes for you coming up here shortly.
Woo! It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom. Who bringing the noise? Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separate men from the boys. Chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out. Serving a piece, working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.